FromSoftware, a legendary gaming studio known for designing their games to be extremely challenging, encourages players to persevere, adapt, and overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. This deliberate approach has earned FromSoftware a legendary reputation for crafting experiences that players will never forget. In this video, I'm going over the top 5 hardest games ever made by FromSoftware. Now, I know a lot of other people have ranked the Souls games in order of difficulty, but I've never seen a list ranking all the games by FromSoftware. In my list, I'll be including games from the Soulsborne series, Armored Core, Kingsfield, and more. So sit back and relax while we explore the most challenging games FromSoftware has to offer. Kicking off our list is none other than Elden Ring, the immensely popular game that has sold over 30 million copies, making it the best-selling game by FromSoftware. While popularity alone isn't enough to secure a spot on this list, Elden Ring holds a unique place due to it being the gateway for so many players into the difficult world of FromSoftware games. For countless gamers, Elden Ring marked their first foray into the punishing challenges that FromSoftware is known for. Many new players probably heard this game through a friend, saw some streamer playing it, or heard it was the game of the year through that Bill Clinton kid.
I want to thank everybody and say that I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody.
Regardless, everybody remembers their first FromSoftware game, struggling to get through it, not knowing where to go, unsure of what attributes to power up, and stumbling upon a boss you're not yet prepared for and dying to it over and over, refusing to leave the area and come back when you're stronger. And eventually end up fighting the same boss for 7 hours in a row until you finally end up beating the boss and telling your friends it really wasn't that hard. I believe one of the key factors the average person uses when ranking the difficulty of these games is which was the first game they played. Diving into a whole new game where you have no idea on how anything works significantly adds to the difficulty, and for a lot of people, this was their first game. Once you've played one of these types of games, you have a general idea on how you want to play, or ways to make the game easier if you're struggling. Though it may not claim the crown for the most difficult game on this list, its inclusion is justified by the sheer amount of pain it's inflicted on all the new players just trying to play the game of the year. With the highest clear rate among the games featured here, Elden Ring claims the number 5 position. Placing it any lower would undermine the truly grueling experiences awaiting us further down the list, yet excluding entirely would be completely unfair. Armored Core Last Raven. This is by far the most difficult of the Armored Core games. It was released in 2006 for North America on the PlayStation 2, and like other Armored Core games, featured the ability to transfer your loadout from previous games within the same generation. If you've never played an Armored Core game before, the first challenge can be creating your AC. You can pour hours into the game without fighting a single enemy, just trying to find the right combination for your AC. It can be very frustrating trying to craft an AC that is mobile, tanky, does damage, has enough ammo, and fits within the weight limit. But when you finally find the perfect build suited to your playstyle, it's a feeling of satisfaction that's hard to describe. The missions you thought were impossible feel so much easier to complete, and the enemies in the arena become so much easier to beat. But even after you found the perfect build, you'll still find yourself coming back to the garage. There are always new parts to be found, and always ways to improve your AC. Luckily, you can save your build and work on a new AC if your current one is not well suited for the mission. Even though you have a souped up AC that you think is perfect, you still have to be able to control the thing. What you thought was a perfect build can be extremely clunky and make you want to switch your entire loadout. Or maybe you didn't take into consideration that you have a terrible engine you can't boost much. And if you try to boost too much, well, you start taking damage from overheating. There's also the classic running out of ammo for a specific mission and having to awkwardly try and melee enemies to complete it while they fly all over the place. To accurately control your AC, it feels like you need a cockpit with 100 different buttons to control everything. But in reality, all you have is this. Until you get the hang of controlling your AC, you're going to be hearing a lot of this.
Raven, please respond. Sorry, Raven. Please head back to base. No, this can't be.
And spending a lot of time on this screen, contemplating if you actually want to continue playing or not. Throughout the entirety of the game, you're allowed to pick different missions which shape the outcome of the world. There are 6 unique endings you can achieve. Technically 7 if you include the secret ending, which you can only get by beating every mission in the game. But the hardest of the normal endings is the Zenaida ending. This path results in the death of every Raven except Zenaida and you. After a grueling first half of the mission, destroying the interscene and most likely taking a lot of damage, you find Zenaida waiting for you, ready to fight to the death. Whoever wins this duel becomes the last Raven. Now, if the Zenaida ending was the only path you can complete in this game, Armored Core Last Raven would be further down this list. The missions on this path are so difficult to complete. But since there are multiple different paths and nothing is forcing you to complete the most difficult one, Armored Core Last Raven ranks 4th on this list. Dark Souls 3. It's only fitting that this would be the 3rd game on the list. It's the culmination of all the Souls-like games before, making it a certified Miyazaki masterpiece. Dark Souls 3 takes everything you learned from the previous Souls games and injects it with steroids. The enemies are faster, the bosses hit harder, and they have more phases. More phases. Remember how easy it was in Dark Souls 1 to just cheese some of the harder things in the game? For example, the Black Knight, which is supposed to be a difficult enemy you find early in the game. You can just cheese by walking around him in a circle or having him run off a cliff. And if you're lucky, you get an amazing weapon from him that you can just use to carry you through most of the game. The one thing that is harder about Dark Souls 1 is Blight Town. There's just too much blight and not enough town. Because the render distance is set so high in this area, your FPS just falls off a cliff, making the game feel very choppy. But other than that, almost everything in Dark Souls 3 is harder than its predecessors. In Dark Souls 1 and 2, there's so many broken things that make the game way too easy. Like how in Dark Souls 1, you can just tack on a bunch of heavy armor and face tank a lot of the damage, poising through most of it. Or how in Dark Souls 2, if you wanted to dodge better and get more poise, you just dumped a lot of points into adaptability. But in Dark Souls 3, there is no safety net. Dodging is tied to your reflexes, not your stat sheet. And if you try to run a lot of heavy armor, you'll just get comboed to death. Now, I can go on and on about Dark Souls 3 having slightly harder mechanics and less cheese factor, but in the end of the day, all of the stats speak for themselves. Dark Souls 3 has the lowest clear rate of all 3 games, followed by DS1 and then DS2 in 3rd place. Dark Souls 3 is a punishing, relentless, beautiful send-off to the series. It encapsulates what makes the Souls series amazing and tries to improve on everything before it. And that's why Dark Souls 3 earned its spot as number 3 on this list. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I bet a lot of you had this game as number 1 on your list, and I don't blame you. This game is by far a different beast than all the games before it. Sekiro has a completely different playstyle than all the Souls-like games. This is the first and only game by FromSoftware to introduce the posture mechanic that doesn't just allow you to stat check enemies. This game doesn't allow you to go a match build or snipe enemies from a distance with a bow and arrow. It also doesn't let you grind out experience to become stronger for the boss. You simply have to learn the patterns and get good. There really isn't any other way around it. There is the occasional upgrade for your prosthetic or prayer beast to upgrade your stats a little, but these aren't the most easy to come by. What you have to rely on is your own skill and learn from your mistakes more than anything else. One of the most frustrating parts about fighting a boss in Sekiro is the posture bar. It feels like unless you play the game perfectly, the posture bar will go down. If you don't attack the boss for too long, if they deflect your attack, you blocking an attack, getting hit will all cause the posture bar to go down. And even when you get the bar all the way up and perform a death blow, this even resets the posture, making you do it multiple times in a single boss fight. If the game wasn't hard enough already, another new mechanic Sekiro introduced was a feature called Dragon Rot. Dragon Rot serves as a reminder, showing that each death isn't some meaningless thing, it also hurts the people of Ashina. Each time you die, NPCs around the world get sicker and sicker, eventually affecting the quest lines. Now, you can temporarily cure the Dragon Rot, but if you keep on dying, the NPCs will continue to get sick. It takes a legendary gamer to stick with this game and actually beat it. According to Exophase, only about 20% of gamers have beaten all the bosses in Sekiro. But because Sekiro is so difficult, it often leads to some of the most memorable moments, like fighting the Guardian Ape. After a grueling battle, when you finally manage to decapitate him, he plays dead for a few seconds, then picks up his severed head and is ready to fight again. I've known plenty of people who've given up entirely on Sekiro, and others who think it's the best game made by FromSoftware. This game requires a completely different playstyle than all the games before it, but can feel the most rewarding when defeating a tough boss. And for all these reasons, Sekiro ends up number 2 on this list. Yup, you guessed it. The Adventures of Cookies and Cream. This has got to be hands down the hardest game made by FromSoftware. It's so difficult that the X-Phase trophies for completing it are below 1%. People always think Dark Souls 1 or Demon Souls put FromSoftware on the map. But this game is what truly gave FromSoftware their notoriously difficult reputation. This game pioneered the no easy mode that gets fans up in arms whenever a new FromSoftware game comes out. Due to its backlash, FromSoftware stopped making platformer puzzle games. The tight jumps, intricate puzzles, multiple phase boss battles, all while racing against the clock. And that's just the surface. What really ramps up the difficulty of this game is that it's 2 players, so you have to rely on someone else. Unless you decide to play single player. But even the worst masochist would not want to go through this pain by themselves. I mean, just look at this canoe section. You have to be in perfect tandem. Mine melded with the other player to get through this level in the time limit. And it's so easy to lose time in this game. If you miss a jump, you get placed back to the beginning of the obstacle and lose time. If you get hit by a monster, you lose time. Oh, and guess what happens if you stand still for too long? Yeah, you lose more time. And when you start to run out of time, the music goes up a higher octave and starts to speed up, making you even more nervous. This game boasts 9 different worlds, each with its own unique theme, with 5 levels in each world. That's more levels than all the Souls-like games combined. On the last stage of the world, you fight the boss, which can take hundreds of attempts to figure out the pattern. After beating the first world, you can go in different directions to forge your own path, but ultimately, all paths lead to the same outcome. And if you really like a challenge, you can attempt to find all the collectibles as well. These are random objects located throughout the lands that are not clearly marked and have no rhyme or reason to them. Well, at least not to the untrained eye. Even after 23 years, a dedicated community is still on the hunt to find all the secrets. And that's not even including if you want to unlock all the bonus characters. You have to find all the puzzle pieces, which are hidden throughout the various worlds. In all the other games on this list, there have been so many speedruns attempted and completed. But for the Adventures of Cookies and Cream, so far there have only been a handful of speedruns completed, and none for 100% of the game. This game is not for the faint of heart. This is one of the worst selling games ever made by FromSoftware due to its sheer difficulty. The Soulsborne games and Armored Core series are plenty difficult, but reach nowhere near this level. Unless you want to take a one-way trip to the nearest mental asylum, please do not play this game. Thank you for watching.